Hello, I'm Bob McFarland, the software developer with Scripty Systems. I'll be your host as we take a look at working with call sheets in Scheduler. If you haven't already, I would highly recommend that you watch some of our other Scheduler videos before watching this one. In particular, the stripboards video, the strips video, casting and actors, and production and crew, as the work you do in those areas carries forward to the call sheet. There's a lot of information to cover regarding call sheets, so we've split the call sheets videos into two parts. This is part 1. Be sure to watch part 2 when you get a chance. Okay, let's get started. I have my TV series project open and ready to go. So where do we find a call sheet? Since a call sheet is all the information that everyone needs to know about a particular shoot day, we need to go to a shoot day. Where do we find shoot days? On a strip board. Let's open a strip board. I'll click the scheduling menu, then the strip boards menu to open the list of all of our strip boards. Or I could use the hotkey combination of Control-Command-A to open all active strip boards. You can have multiple active strip boards as you work on various scheduling scenarios, but you should try to narrow them down to your actual schedule. Just uncheck the active box on a strip board to move it to the inactive state. It won't go away, but it also won't open if you use the hotkey combination. You can see that I have a strip board for each episode that I've set up. I'll open the 101 main strip board that I've set up for the first episode by double-clicking on it. Notice that a calendar has been selected. Once you select a calendar and dates are assigned to all the day breaks, the megaphone icon appears indicating that you can now work on the call sheet for that day. I'll click the megaphone for the first day to open the call sheet window. Now the first and most important thing to remember is to update the call sheet information. There are so many things that feed information to a call sheet that trying to update the call sheet information every time some little change is made would be so complicated it would be very prone to errors. So when you open a call sheet and you are a file owner or schedule manager, before you poke around for information and get things entered for the call sheet, click the Update button here. When you click it, a lengthy warning message pops up. Be sure to read that. It will help you avoid having duplicate data in the call sheet. It also lets you know that if anyone else has made changes that could affect the call sheet, they should post their changes and you should download them before updating the call sheet. Now, if you're the only one using Scheduler in the project, then this warning doesn't apply, so go ahead and click Yes to have Scheduler perform the update. Before I dive into the details, I'm going to close this call sheet and open the call sheet for the next day so I can show you something. A new button has appeared next to the Update button. This button allows you to copy all the applicable information from the previous day. For example, if you're working at the same location for multiple days, most of the information, such as call times, notes, transportation information, and so on, will be the same for every day at that location. Using the Copy button will save you a lot of time. I'll click it to show you how it works. A window opens with several options of what information to copy from the previous call sheet. It also lets you know if the previous day was at the same location. If it was not at the same location, the only box checked is to copy the crew call times. If it was at the same location, all the boxes would be checked. But of course, you can check off any of the boxes you want. Copy as much or as little information as you like. Don't worry so much about the list of options, as I'll cover those as we get into the call sheet details. I'll just click Cancel. Okay, I'm going to go back to the first day. Let's start in the upper left. This is how you know where you came from. You can see we're in strip board titled 101 Main. It's being shot by the main unit. And we're in the production phase. In the strip boards video, I talked about how you can create strip boards for other phases of the production, such as pre-production. You can use them to schedule location scouts, costume fittings, and so on, so that anyone looking at the master calendar will be able to see what is going on for the entire production. Then you can see that the episode 101 calendar was applied to the strip board. In the next column, you can see which day you're looking at. The day is Monday, the first day of March. The day number is 1 of 7, but the phase day is 1 of 6. When I set up the calendar, I only set the production phase to be 6 days. But when I set up the strip board, I scheduled some strips for a 7th day. So I've scheduled beyond the allotted shoot days. Now that we know which call sheet we're working on, let's set the call time itself. You can see that it defaulted both the crew call and shooting call to 8 a.m. I'll change the crew call to 7 a.m. I'll go ahead and leave the shooting call time at 8. And I'll set the next day to 7 a.m. as well. I'll come back to the versions after we've looked at all the other information that goes into a call sheet. The window opens with the Strips tab selected, which shows the strips for the day in order from the strip board. Easy enough. You can open a strip to review the details by double-clicking it in the list or clicking the circle with the arrow in it. I'll double-click one. Using the navigation buttons, I can easily scroll through the strips for the day. Now hopefully you've already watched the strips video so you're familiar with this window. I'll just close it for now. Okay, moving on, I'll click the Sides tab. Here is where you can generate sides for the cast and crew. You can configure each actor and crew member to receive either half-page sides or full-page sides. Now when you generate sides here, you may end up with multiple PDFs because of the different size requirements. Starting on the left, you can produce the sides in the order the scenes are scheduled to be shot or in script order. If you select the scheduled order, you may end up with multiple copies of pages if two scenes appear on the same page, but are shooting out of order. The cleanest method is to print them in script order. I'll select it. You can generate sides for everyone who is configured to receive sides and is scheduled for the day by clicking the Generate Sides button. You're presented with a list of everyone scheduled for the day who is configured to receive sides. Everyone in the cast for the day will always be included in the list. As for the crew, only those with titles that are configured to receive sides will be included in the crew list. You can configure who receives sides in the master lists or project lists for departments. Check out the production and crew video for more information on that. As you can see, everyone is checked to receive sides. If you only want them for one person, click the Unselect All to remove all the check marks, then select the person you want to produce sides for. Once you have your selections made, click Proceed. I'll click OK on the Page Setup dialog. And our sides are ready to go. You can see that 3 PDFs were generated. The first page of the call sheet is included as the first page of the sides, so you can see we have 2 half-page sides. I'll scroll down a little bit here. You can see the watermarks for Wanda Approver and Bob McFarlane, and notice that the scenes we're not shooting today are crossed out. All right, let's look at the next set. Here is a full-page set for Terrence, which is a character's name. Sides for actors will always use the character name for the watermark. And here's our final set for our other actor playing the role of Sally. This actress gets half-page sides. So just print the PDFs, cut them up, and staple as necessary and distribute them. Now close the PDFs and you can see the message that a distribution list will be generated. I'll click OK, then OK, and here's our distribution list. First for the crew, and for the cast. You can use this form as a record of when sides were delivered and when they were returned by the actor or crew member. All right, I'll close the distribution list. And now you can see that every side that was generated has been logged with the recipient, who generated the side, and the date and time it was generated. And you even have a checkbox to indicate that the sides were returned if you want to use it. You also have a couple of other options to generate sides. If you just need a quick set, not for anyone in particular, you can use the one-off options. I'll click the half size button. And I'll click OK, and here it is. When you generate a one-off and a watermark is required, it puts the name of the person who generated the sides on for the watermark. So be careful who you give those to because your name is on them. All right, I'll close the sides, and of course a log entry was added. Now before we move on, if you don't need a watermark on the sides, you could turn them off. Go to the Scheduler menu, then Master Preferences if you want to change it for future projects, or Project Preferences if you just want to change it for this project. I'll go to Project Preferences to show you where it is. Once you pick Project Preferences, you'll go to Default Settings. You have 2 options that look similar. Watermark Actor Scripts is used when you have the actor window open and you want to provide them with a script for their scenes. It will watermark them using the actor name or the character name. The one we're concerned about here is the Watermark Sides option. Uncheck it if you don't want to watermark the sides. Okay, enough about sides. Let's take a look at the Cast and Crew tab. This tab shows a list of all the actors and crew that are scheduled for the day. Notice the actors are listed with their character name. In the Cast and Actors video, I explained how you can configure each actor's name that will appear on the call sheet. Their actual name can show, or their character name, or an alias. These actors appear to be configured to use their character name. As for the crew, in the Production and Crew video, I explained that whenever you add someone to a unit, there's an option to add them to all applicable strips. So anyone who has been added to a strip that is being shot on this day is pulled into the call sheet and listed here. Let's start with the cast. Kind of obvious, right? You select whether they are being picked up or whether they are to report to set. You can add to or change this list of options and preferences. Go to the Master List or Project List, then Call Sheet, then Report Pickup Types. I'll just select CPU for car pickup. I'll enter the time as 7 a.m. You can enter the time they need to report for hair, makeup, and wardrobe. Let's call it 8:15 a.m. And the time they need to report as 9:15. That's the quick and easy way to enter an actor's times. If you need to enter their stand-in time, or when the shoot day is over, you need to enter their actual times, double-click the row or click the circle with the arrow in it. Here you can see the times we entered, but also some additional fields. for the stand-in, the contract sign date, pay rate, and notes. This is also where you will enter their actual times at the end of the day. You can see there are a lot of fields, so you can really keep an accurate record for the actors. If the actor is eligible for bumps for things like working where there is smoke or explosives, you can enter those under the Bumps tab. Simply click the plus button to enter a bump. The list of configured bumps is displayed. You can configure the types of bumps in Preferences. I'll select Explosives. You can select more than one by command clicking on additional items. I'll just stick with Explosives and click Select. If the default percentage is not correct, double-click the row or click the circle with the arrow to enter a different percentage for this actor. I'll change it to 15, tab out, and save it. I'll click the Save button to save the changes. Let's move on to the crew. Hopefully you've watched the production and crew video, so you're familiar with the time settings or the call type settings. As a brief reminder, you can configure the department call time settings so you don't have to set them for each individual. And you can override the department setting for specific titles such as producers. And you can override the department and title settings for an individual. Let's start by looking at the production department. Currently, the production department is configured to use the crew call time as a default. Since the crew call is set to 7 a.m., the department call time is set to 7 a.m. We have 2 people in the department. Bob, as a producer, defaults to on call, while Wanda, as a line producer, is set to use the department time. The type is based on their title as configured in Preferences. If you want the production department to show up 30 minutes before the crew, enter -30 in the plus-minus box. Notice the call time changed to 6:30 a.m. And since Wanda's time is based on the department time, her call time changed to 6:30 a.m. Let's say you need Wanda to show up at 6 a.m. for some reason. You can override her time by selecting a different option in the call type dropdown. I'll select Unique Time. Notice a box appears for her call time, allowing me to set a specific time. I'll change it to 6 a.m. and tab to lock it in. Well, you can play with the different options. Again, be sure to watch the production and crew video to learn more details about the various options. One more thing I want to mention is when you have one person in multiple roles, such as Bob. He's a producer and the first AD. Since Bob is only one person, if you change the setting for Bob in one row, it will automatically update his other row. Let's say we don't need Bob there until the shooting time. We're going to let him sleep in a little. I'll change his producer selection to shooting call. And notice that Bob's time changed to 8 a.m., and his first AD record changed to shooting call and 8 a.m. as well. Just a little time saver if one person is filling multiple roles in the production. One other option you have is to link a crew member to an actor or another crew member. For example, if you need a makeup artist to show up 15 minutes before a particular actor, I'll scroll down to our makeup artist. Then I'll drag Kathy and drop her onto Terrence. Notice that her call type now shows Terrence and her call time is set to 8:15 a.m., the same as Terrence's hair, makeup, wardrobe time. I said we needed her to show up 15 minutes before Terrence, so I'll enter -15 in the plus-minus box. And her call time is now 8 a.m. You can do the same thing with other crew. Let's say the director has a personal assistant that needs to be on set at the same time as the director. Just drag the assistant row and drop it onto the director's row to link them together. So you can see that you have many options for configuring and setting the call times for the crew. These options should allow you to deal with any scenario. There's one other field that you have for individual crew, the asterisk field. This allows you to add a character or characters that will appear next to the name on the call sheet. And I don't mean characters from the script. Characters as in letters. One example might be if you have several crew vans transporting the crew to and from set and you want to assign everyone to specific vans. You can enter something like V1 or V2 in the box and it will be noted on the call sheet. Okay, back to the department row. You can add notes and customize them with colors and fonts. These notes will show up within the applicable department section on the back of the call sheet. To add a note for a department, just click the note icon. Type in your note. Then customize how it will look on the call sheet by selecting a font and size. Then you can select the border color, background color, and text color. Just click on the color box. I'll click the background color and select yellow and close it. You get the idea. I'll save the note. And there it is. All right, I'm going to add another one real quick. Okay, now we have 2 notes. You can arrange the order by dragging them around like this. The order in which you have them here is the order they will appear in the call sheet. To delete a note, click the trash can, confirm the delete, and it will be deleted. Next to the note button is a button that looks like 3 people. You may recognize it if you watch the strips video. This button is how you can add additional crew that maybe were not included in strips. Maybe you know you're going to need a few extra background PAs on set. You can add them here without having to go back to the individual strips. I'll select Background PA from the title dropdown. I'll enter 3 in the needed box and press Tab and save it. So now we know that we need 3 background PAs, but who they're going to be. To add the individual background PAs so they'll appear on the call sheet, just click the plus button. A list of all of your production personnel and crew will be displayed, so you can select the background PAs. If the person is not in the list and you think you may have worked with them before, click the padlock to pull in everyone from your master list or contacts list. If you still don't find the person you're looking for and need to add them, click the plus button. Enter their information and save them. I'll just click Cancel for now so we can move on. And I'll cancel selecting someone for now as well. Now we just added additional crew right here in the call sheet. But as I mentioned before, additional crew can also be added in strips. And those additional crew are pulled into the call sheet from the strips. I'll scroll down a bit to the camera department. Notice we need a crane operator. The crane operator was pulled in from a strip where I had added it during the strips video demo. To add the actual crane operator, just add them like I did with the background PAs. Alright, back to the department rows. Notice the stopwatch. So that you don't have to enter actual times for every individual, you can enter the times for the department, and every individual's times will be updated appropriately. So just click the stopwatch. All the fields are pretty obvious, just fill them in. But notice the checkbox at the bottom. You may have already entered times for particular individuals. If you want their times to be overwritten by these departmental times, be sure to check the box. As you can see, the default is unchecked so that you don't accidentally overwrite any individual times you've already set. I'll just click Cancel for now. Well, I'm guessing you're ready for a break. That was a lot of information to cover. So be sure to watch Call Sheets Part 2, where I'll finish our tour of the call sheets. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Part 2.